All right. Today is February 14th, 17th, and I wanted to make another video. I'm trying to get these more and more. I didn't do anything last weekend, so I want to at least do one today, and I'm going to try to do one to two a week, and like on a Friday and on a Saturday. But what I wanted to talk about today was I was going through some old songs that we recorded when I used to be in a band called um, Juggernaut. Then we were Pseudo Armor, and I don't know if we changed the name after that anymore. I can't remember. But this was back in 2005 when we recorded. I think it was 16 songs. Yeah, I think it was. And let's just say I don't play like that no more. But I did a. I did a. I was I had an app, or I found an app that will split the songs, like from split the bass. It will separate. I mean, the bass, the drums, and the vocal and the guitar. If you had vocal, which we didn't on these recordings, thank God, because some singers just anyway. So I I separated the bass and the drums, but I on some of it, what I did was I left the bass and the drums because I wanted to see how our old bass player played to what I was playing to on the songs. And without the guitar, it's rough. I mean, my playing is, it's fine for the song, but it doesn't have any rhythm to it. So my goal in this year is to re-record my parts to make it more have rhythm, I guess. And speaking of songs, I wanted to kind of talk about songs that move us to want to play. Like the first time we ever played an instrument, what got you started? And for some people, it's a lot of things. For me, um, it was probably a Kiss song. So I'm dating myself back in '75. Um, started playing on pillows, you know. Then I started playing. I got a drum set from my parents for Christmas, and it had these real thick paper, kind of like um, probably about 5 to 7 sheets of uh, construction paper for heads. They sounded horrible. They didn't even have tone to them. It was more like a flat uh, sound. So, and I had one little bitty one cymbal. It had rivets in it. They were blue, sparkle, I think. And the bass drum was probably an 18, maybe. Um, I had no floor tom, so I had a snare, a tom, and a tom that went off like on an angle on a bar, metal bar, and those were horrible. But I think I broke them probably the day I got them. They were horrible, but I mean, my parents didn't know. They didn't. They don't really They didn't understand drums. What the difference, and they probably got them at Toys R Us. To be honest with you, Toys R Us back then had everything in the '70s. I mean, they had bikes, they had all kinds of stuff. So that's probably where they got them. Um, so I think it was probably a Kiss song. I'm trying to think what Kiss song it was that really got me interested. Um, I believe now to say that music in general to get me interested in music. My parents listened to country because they were from the South, and I loved the harmony that the singers did on those songs, like George Jones and when you listen to Merle Haggard, and he had that vibrato that kind of rattled his voice rattled um, when he did when he he kind of ended a note or ended a phrase. That was always really, that always caught my ear. So it was really cool to hear that. But I liked harmony. So I'm going to date myself here, but I like a song called Mandy from Barry Manilow because it wasn't the song itself, it was the way he sung it. And I think my sister or somebody was playing that on a record, and I'm like, you know, you don't really understand melody when you're young. Just if it sounds good, you don't know why it sounds good. You just know it does. And I really liked the Bee Gees for like "How Deep Is Your Love," stuff like that. When they had harmony, you know, it was. I know it was high. It was falsetto. It was high, but um, they really sounded good with their melody and the way they sung the tune. All their tunes, pretty much. I didn't like all their songs. I didn't like the early stuff. Like I can't remember a lot of those songs, but I was like, eh. But right when they did Saturday Night Fever, 75 or 77, I think it was 77, maybe, I don't know. Um, you know, harmony is a weird thing. You can hear it across from R&B to funk to jazz to blues to rock, pop, anything. Nowadays, there's not a lot of it, which is, um, I always thought that like Aretha Franklin and that she had a really strong voice to sing some of the stuff that she sung, and she did it effortlessly. And that's the kind of singers that really stood out among, like, well, for instance, I mean, Diana Warwick. Um, I didn't like hardly any of her stuff, but I love the way she sung. But I didn't. She only did covers, I think. I don't know that she did any originals per se. I don't think she was a writer. Um, but even Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, you probably don't know any of these people because it's way over. It's a long time ago. But a lot of these people did. Like Sammy Davis Jr. was a drummer. I don't know if he played guitar, but he was a drummer too. He was a showman. That's when um, Karen Carpenter could play drums also. And, that was cool. She did more than one instrument than sing. I don't know if she played guitar or not. I don't think I remember her playing guitar, but maybe piano. I know her brother did, but I don't know. But there was a lot of people back in the 70s. And 70s to me was the greatest music in the early 80s. From the 70s to the early 80s, had the best music in the world to me. And that was all across all genres, whether it was country or funk or disco, whatever. It doesn't matter. Because disco at that time is not like the dance music now where they had to play their own instruments. They couldn't play, it wasn't sampled. And that's cool because I didn't like disco growing up, a lot of it. Some of it, was okay. But now I respect it a lot more because of, I realized that they played their own instruments and that was pretty cool. I like that idea. Um, so I think it was a Kiss song that I gravitated towards. It was either one that my sister played on guitar. Can't remember. I know she played Shooting Star was one of her first songs. She liked Rush. So I had to not learn, but I had to do my best to play drums to Anthem. And yeah, I think it was Anthem. Well, no, it wasn't Anthem. It was Best I Can, maybe. All I know is it was on the Fly By Night album, I think. But By Torn the Snow Dog, I know was another one that she wanted to play. And I was like, how the hell you even play this? This drummer's like, it's like, holy shit, I can't play like that. Even if I wanted to. If I had a gun in my head, I couldn't play like that. Neil was just too damn hard. So I never really played to Neil. I played easier stuff because what's the sense of trying to play something real hard if you can't play it? And I didn't take lessons, so that didn't help. I found a few drummers online um, that actually teach a little bit better in a way that even now I can I can play a lot of their stuff and practice to it and be better. So I'm gonna start doing that at some point. I'm gonna have to if I'm gonna record my drum parts for that music that we recorded because holy shit, I played too fast on some stuff. It seemed like, um, but I tended to play some of the same stuff. But to me, that's what the guitar playing was kind of doing, and I heard it in my head, and that's not good. I had not having a vocabulary of music, of drums, and having other things that I heard could copy. Now I did copy a few. I copied Peter Criss. I copied Bill Ward. I copied Lee Kerslake, and I copied. I'm trying to think who else I copied. There was another drummer I liked, Vinny Appice, maybe. Yeah, Benny. And now there was one song that we played that I did. I copied the drum line from Fever Dreams from Dio. From Simon Wright, I think was a drummer. Yeah, Simon was a drummer on that. That was back in 2000. So around that time, we did a song called Lies, and I copied that drum pattern. Not all of it, just hit bits and pieces. But that's what a lot of drummers do. I hear that they copied all. They make it their own, but they do copy. And but copy Neil Peart, can't do that. He's just too damn hard. And I see these little kids online now playing the stuff like that, and I'm just like, it almost makes you want to quit because they're so damn good. But that inspires me that a new generation's doing that, playing because there's nothing like it when you play drums or guitar or sing or whatever you're doing. All of it's good. I think music should be in schools, should be a requirement, just like the military should be. Some of these damn kids will learn how to have respect. A lot of them don't. I'll get off that box now. So, but the songs that inspire you to play or like music or even write your own music, it's fascinating to me what people like. Got a guy at work that likes show tunes, which, okay, sure. I'm not really big into a lot of show tunes. I think some of it's all right. I do not like musicals at all. Like when people start singing their dialogue in it, no, I don't like that at all. The only one I'll give a pass to is Willy Wonka. That's the only one I'll give a pass to because who doesn't like Willy Wonka? I mean, come on, Willy Wonka's great, and maybe Rocky Horror and Nightmare. Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not bad. The music in that was pretty good. I liked, but I don't like. That's why I don't like musicals. I don't like the singing dialogue. Like I couldn't watch Hair. I couldn't watch. Now Grease was, I saw it at the movie. I was young and I was 77. I was stupid, so I still didn't know nothing. So, that was all right, I guess. But Rocky, I liked Rocky Horror Picture Show. But I can't watch like my follow-all trying to get me to watch Paint Your Wagon or something like that with Lee Marvin, I think his name is, and Clint Eastwood was singing. I'm like, that was horrible. Holy cow. That was, uh, that was painful to watch and painful to listen to. That's like hearing Chuck Norris sing. Ah, just get me in the head, get it over with. You know, I didn't like Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood sing. Clint Eastwood can't sing. Neither one of them could sing. And I'm like, what the hell are you singing for? But I think that's what that was called. It's called Paint Your Wagon or Painted Wagon or I don't know. He got me to watch. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Holy cow. So, all right, there was that. But musicals in general, I didn't like, but I liked very few. Mamma Mia, High School, whatever. That was stupid too. Um, if Theo did a musical, I probably would like it because I mean he could sing anything, just like Steven Tyler and speaking of Steven Tyler, liking songs, and cover songs for people. Dolly Parton did a cover album for being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I guess she decided to do a CD called Rockstar, and she does Purple Rain on it, and the best song on the album, I think, is the one that her and Steven Tyler do. I Want You Back. Holy cow. I love the way they sing together. There's a song on there, I think it's Night Moves from Bob Seger, and Dolly's part was not bad. But, and I know what you're going to say. People get old. I get it. But sometimes you just don't need to be singing anymore. I mean, I guess I shouldn't really say that because we all get old and it's, it happens, I mean, Paul Stanley in the last 10 years has sounded horrible. And, that's why I couldn't, besides the politics shit that they were throwing in their thing, I didn't want to see them because I saw them in their heyday, so nothing was like that, they couldn't bring the magic back. Now, I liked albums they did, like, I love Creatures. I didn't really like, some of, Look It Up was okay, but I didn't listen to it. I didn't like anything past Look It Up that much. Just songs here and there, but not everything. I think the whole album of Creatures is phenomenal. And they really didn't have that kind of album where you liked everything. Like I think 76 was the last time they had an album that I liked everything on it. Rock and Roll Over. Even I liked all the songs on Destroyer. I didn't have a problem with any of them. I thought they were pretty good. But I loved Rock and Roll Over because of, Ladies Room and I Want You. Take Me is my favorite song on there. But that was an album that I think if I read that right, that article right, I think that was the last album they all played on together as a group. And then after that, they had people come in because Paul and Gene were getting tired of Ace and Peter not either showing up or not coming in with ideas that didn't suck. But see what happened was in 81 or 80, when I heard, I was already started to get tired of Kiss because of Dynasty. And then when Unmasked came out, I was done. But what happened, what flipped was, you had Ozzy coming out with Blizzard of Oz, and Randy's playing on that. It was like a moth to the flame for me. I just went right to it. Loved it. From the first time I heard the opening song is all I remember on tape. My friend had. We were sitting outside of grade school. I was in 8th grade when it came out, and I remember the opening riff to I don't know. It's not a riff. It's more like the amplifier was buzzing. It was made of almost. It was either like a train or a plane. Couldn't have been either one. And the opening to that, I was like, holy cow! And Dio was already in Sabbath, so I was already listening to that and loved all that. Every song on Heaven and Hell, every song on Mob Rules. It was the same way with Ozzy. It was every song on Blizzard, every song on Diary. You know, you hear that stuff and you're like, Randy and Vivian, or I mean not Vivian, but Tony were, you know, as far as they can be on spectrum wise, But as far as metal was concerned, or heavy rock, wow, it was a very good years to be alive. AC/DC came out Back in Black. You had Scorpions with what the hell was that called? Blackout. Sorry, I almost had one. Then you had, a lot of bands, Judas Priest, with British Steel. It was 81. Because I know that, what was that? That was 81, or 80. I think it was British Steel. Because Screaming didn't come out to 83. What the hell? It might have been 81. I don't know. Back in Black, and then you had, For Those About to Rock. So AC/DC was on the map again after Bond passed away. Zeppelin was gone because of John Bonham died, so that was the end of that. So one era ended and another 5 began, for these bands. The early 80s, 80 to 85 was monster for a lot of bands. The Sabbath was coming to an end because of Ozzy getting kicked out in '79, and then they found Dio and they recorded Heaven and Hell, and that brought them back, to life. You can say what you want about Dio, but if it wasn't for Dio, that Sabbath wouldn't have been saved. I don't think, because if you would have had Ian Gillan then, maybe, Ian Gillan in his own right is a great singer, great frontman, so I don't know, but I don't know that I would. I love the Born Again, but I don't think it would have saved Sabbath. I don't think. Dio was the only one that could save Sabbath, I think, in that time. Because you had, I don't know what other singers he was talking to. But he met Ronnie at the Rainbow in Hollywood, in LA, so I don't know if he was entertaining any other singers. I know that Don Aaron Martin, however you say his name, had other plans. He wanted somebody different. But Dio proved to be the singer they needed at the time. Just like when Ozzy went on his own, if Randy wasn't a part of that, I don't think Ozzy would have survived. I think his career and most likely his life would have ended then. I don't know that for sure. It's hard to say. And there's a lot of things that happen, that have to happen in between all these things that everything fell into place. Like with Dana Strum introducing Ozzy to Randy, you know. And we find out that Vinny got a call from Sharon about Wizard of Oz, and Carmine talked him out of it, said that, Ozzy is a little eccentric, so you might not want to entertain that idea of being in the band. So he skipped that. So we could have had Jiggy Lee and Dio. That would have been interesting. But I don't know if Dio didn't like him, or if, because I know Dio tried out him, Warren DeMarty. Well, he tried Warren later on, and he didn't care for him. Explain. What is it? Okay. I don't know if it was, if Warren was not, I don't know. I mean, he was a good guitar player, so I don't know what happened. Maybe he came in with too much baggage or something. Them guys back then at that time were at that, just, I think Rat was not as big when he actually tried out for Dio. I think that was probably in the 90s when he was looking for a guitar player. The early 1990 actually, or 89, because Craig left in 87 or 88. And 89, Dio was looking for a guitar player, because he didn't take too long to find one. When he was looking for one, he found one usually pretty quick. But then he got a, Rollins tape, Rowan Robertson, so he went with him. Being so young, that's the only thing that kind of almost didn't let it work, because Dio had he thought he might be too young for the road and for playing out, in front of people. And that ended up working out pretty good, so that didn't really matter. And the rest is history on that. But like I said, the 80s were a great time for music. The late 70s, mid 70s, Kiss was coming out with, Kiss coming out with stuff. You had Aerosmith, you had Zeppelin, of course. You had Black Sabbath doing their thing still. And you had, but I didn't like everything from Sabbath. I heard, I like the older stuff, like the more, like, Master of Reality was one of my favorites. I didn't like Technical Necessity that much. A few songs on it I liked. I liked Paranoid. I thought the whole album was pretty good. I liked the first album, of course, with the NIB and stuff on it. And I don't think it sounded scary. I don't know what people were saying about that. Because after you watch The Exorcist, nothing's scary. No album frightened me after that. I wasn't in shock of anything. That scared the hell out of me. And I saw that on a damn TV with the lights on. And that scared I couldn't sleep for, I think, a whole week without the light on when I was little. So, yeah. But I used to watch Ultraman. Yeah, I love that stuff. The Japanese shows. Godzilla. I love Godzilla. I still do to this day. Love Godzilla. So the best times I think for music were, the 80s, because of everybody was coming out with a great album. Everybody was firing on all cylinders by that time. AC/DC was, Ozzy was, Sabbath was, Judas Priest was. I mean, from 80 to 83, killer stuff. That's just to name a few. There's a lot more I'm forgetting, or not. Just I love everybody. I mean, I didn't like the glam rock, I guess, too much. And even Dio got a little bit into the hair metal with Hungry for Heaven, and I could have been a dreamer. So everybody had their moment, even though Dio wasn't playing like that. The band, it had. I think Sacred Heart was a little lighter than the darkness to the Last in Line. Because that album was dark sounding. It had a little bit more dark elements to it. Not that the lyrics or anything were, but just the overall feel. It was definitely not a hair metal band, but I didn't like Rat that much, or Warmth, or Skid Row, or Bon Jovi. I did like one song from Bon Jovi in '80. I think that was '80. It was Runaway. I thought that was a great song. But I wasn't really into that sound. Because I think I heard Here I Go Again too damn much in the late '80s. That killed it for me. I was like, damn, come on. I mean, I liked it when I first heard it. I thought it was alright. It was good. I mean, how can you not like Sights? Sights and Coverdale. That was the best music duo of the era. I mean, you had Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, but holy shit, when you had Sights and Coverdale and Randy and Ozzy, and Randy and Ozzy didn't write anything together. It was Bob Daisley and Randy and Lee Kerslake. Ozzy just hummed. He was a hummer. Who isn't, right? I mean, there's a lot of us that are. Because that's the only way we can write a damn tune. Because I don't know how to play a damn instrument other than the drums to save my life. So, I absolutely can't think of another time that was really on fire, music-wise. Because, I mean, think about it. You had so many bands coming out with great albums that were already out, and they were dinosaurs. Black Sabbath was a dinosaur. But when Heaven and Hell came out, wow. Heaven and Hell stood out. Ronnie's voice stood out. And, I told you a story before on the early episode about being a dumb kid and not knowing that Ozzy left. Because, I mean, we didn't have the internet then, so you had to read it in, Circus or Cream or Faces or Kerrang or somewhere. You would have to read it that Dio left. But, I mean, Ozzy left, but I didn't get those magazines. I got albums. I went to Sorry. I went to, record stores. But there was nothing like going to a record store and they would have the new album up, on the shelf that you can see. That's the first time I ever saw Creatures. I didn't even know that it was coming out. Went into, I think it was called Rose Records, maybe, in Chicago. Because it was called Peaches. It's called Peaches down here in Atlanta, where I am now. But then it was called Rose Records, I believe. I think that's who they bought out. But first time seeing that on the wall, I was like, oh shit. And I was already a Black Sabbath fan, so, and listening to Dio a lot. But it looked interesting because it was blue, and the eyes caught my eye. When I first walked in the door and, panned around, that's what caught my eye. They always had albums like that would catch your eye, Dynasty was like that, Unmasked was like that, even though the Kiss, name was really tiny, compared to the album itself. I mean, if you saw the Four Faces, you knew who it was. But on this, it was a cartoon, so you didn't see the Kiss logo. Because it was a cartoon. it was really small, and it didn't have their faces on it except at the bottom, so you didn't really see it, you know. But it caught my eye. Yeah, sure. But man, that album was disappointing. Ugh, that and now Dynasty. I'm gonna, even though I didn't like I Was Made for Loving You, I liked Hard Times. I liked Save Your Love, and Sure Know Something was okay, I guess. But and Charisma. I didn't like X-Ray Eyes. Dirty Living. That was one album they all had a tune on, and Ace's songs were probably better than that. He had three on that album. So Hard Times, 2000 which was a Stones cover, and but no. Yeah. Hang on one second. So that was the great thing about going into a record store and seeing your favorite band on the wall. Their new album. There was a place in Chicago called Rolling Stone, and when I went in there, they had a lot of imports, a lot. And for all the Dio fans out there, I don't know if you remember, but the band Dio came out. Warner Brothers came out with a video. It had Dio's face on it, and it was half color, half black and white, and it said Dio Live in '83, I believe it said. And they started off with Neon Nights, I believe, and they had Invisible on there. It was just, and I've only seen that once, and I think it was on. I want to say it was on Laserdisc also, but somebody rented it out at the store, and I never got to see it because I was going to record it, just like I recorded Black and Blue. But somebody already had it, and they never returned it, so it was gone. And to this day, I can't find it. Nobody. I even wrote the Dio fan club, and which I was a member of at the time, in '83, and I was a member because you got a lot of stuff um, from them. You got song lyrics, you got stickers, you got posters, and all kinds of stuff, which was cool. So I wrote the fan club, and I asked, and I think her name was not Renee. I can't remember. I think it started with a D. Danielle, maybe. But she wrote me back and said that particular video is not something they own the right to. But at the time, the record company did, which was Warner Brothers. So, but they said they had no control over it, and there was. She said there wasn't a lot of copies of it, and to this day, they still don't know. They don't own the right to it. I'm hoping that at some point that Wendy Dio got the right to that to release it, because she got the right to Hammersmith, Dio Live in Hammersmith in '93. So I'm hoping that she'll get the rights to that to release it, because that's something that a lot of people haven't seen. At least none of my friends that I know of. They started off with Neon Nights, and they went right into Stand Up and Shout, Children of the Sea, Invisible, Shame on the Night was on there, Straight Through the Heart, and they didn't start playing Long Live Rock and Roll yet. That didn't come out. I'm sorry, that didn't hit the set list until '84 because Dio stopped it. And I remember that because he stopped it. I'm not right when they started it. He stopped it. He said, "We got to play something that means more." And at that time, the PMARC was big, trying to put labels on our music. So Dio stopped playing Starstruck. Yeah, Starstruck, and he started playing Long Live Rock and Roll, which I thought was a better song anyway. Why you would play Starstruck? I mean that was Was it really played a lot in Rainbow? I don't know. I don't remember seeing it a lot on the song list for the Rainbow shows. Because mostly you had Richie playing solos on everything. He did a lot of long intros. Um, so, but you know, like I was saying, when you go in a record store and you see all your favorite bands, and then you have like a lot of the imports that were phenomenal to get. I still have some of my Kiss, not all of them. I stopped buying Kiss when they came out with the hell's that one with Tears Are Falling? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I didn't like that album at all. I didn't like hell. I really didn't like that. Was it Damn, I forgot what it's called. This got them Crazy Night song. I hated that one. Jesus, Jesus. And Eric Carr's not a bad drummer, but man, he got some stuff. He got stuff with some shitty music, Except for the island, the Elder. That's a good song. The Elder. I and the island and that first song that opens up this album. That's a good one too. Mr. Blackwell's not great, but a lot of people don't like that. A lot of my friends hated that song. I thought it was pretty good. You know, I liked rock and roll. I like every song off of Creature. So Eric did great on that. His drum sound was, man, it was loud. It was loud in the mix. It was great. And then the remix for the 40th anniversary, it even sounds better, if that's even possible. I think they had the same engineer come in and remix it, if I read that right. Um, but I love every song on that album. Danger, I Still Love You. Yes, JR, I like that song. Um, I like them all on that. War Machine. Um, Even I Love It Loud. That's all right. I got tired of hearing that, because they played it on MTV way too much. Um, I love it loud. Oh, say, excuse me, but I loved all kinds of music, you know, but I gravitated towards hard rock more than anything. But now I don't. I listen to a lot of country, a lot of hard rock, a lot of speed metal, a lot of funk, a lot of blues. I missed out on so much, liking one genre. And that's the worst thing you could do as a musician is listen to only one genre because it really taints your playing. You don't have a vocabulary of playing, you're limited to certain things. You know, Granted, country back in the day was not what country is today, where, some of it's really hard to play. It's very, busy. But back then it wasn't. It was, that's, or you had a train beat, whatever. However the train beat goes. How can you play that? Hmm. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, um, so country really did branch out drumming wise. I don't know how the bass players did it because I heard that a lot of them were bored to death playing that. Even though it was a gig, I got paid. Um, the one, some of the country stars that really changed it to play like a little bit more, like when they were like rock blues oriented, like Charlie Daniels. He played a lot of different styles. Charlie was a good writer. And then you had people like Garth Brooks that took it to another extreme, you know, good or bad, and whatever your opinion is about that. Um, Garth really upped the bar, going to see Kiss and really having a big theater. I can't say that word either. Having a big production. So, yeah, him having a big production, having the lights, the sound, putting on a good, show for the money. He got that from Kiss. He even said that. So a lot of bands are inspired by Kiss from that, you know. And you could tell when you see the show how big the show is. They were inspired as kids. How big because Kiss was the first to do everything. The meet and greets, the bigger poster, that was the whole wall poster instead of just the normal 24 by 32 or 24 by 24 or whatever it was. Their stuff was always bigger, and always the Kiss logo was always dominant in the poster for the majority. Maybe not the Paul Stanley single photos or the Ace or when the Forum came out, had Ace, bending in his guitar smoking, Paul was crouched down, Gene was standing. I don't know if he was blowing fire or not on that one. And Peter was sitting down, he just was either starting Beth or gonna sing Beth or got done singing Beth. But that was always those albums were always cool. Well, I mean albums. Posters were always cool to look at. And they were back then they were $10, and that was a lot of money for a poster back then in the 70s. You know, you have giant posters of that. The one I have behind here is the live one. The live. Can you see it? Let's see. No, you can't. But can you see it? Yeah, see a little bit right there. Right there in the corner, you can see that. That's from the Alive 2. I had it blown up. My son got it for me for my birthday, and it was pixelated. I thought he was going to choke the dude because we ordered it one day and went back. It was on a Saturday. We went back on a Sunday, and it was all grainy and just pixelated. And I told my son, "Don't say nothing," because it was an older guy. You know, the picture he had was clear. The poster he had was clear, but the poster he printed out was pixelated. So I took it to work and I straightened it out. I got it all looking really, really good. No pixelation. And that's the one. And Peter has his arms crossed and he's way in the back of all the explosions. It doesn't have the Kiss logo. I think you can see it, but the riser's up and Peter's got the two cats on there. So it is Alive 2. Yeah. It's got all the fire going off. All the bomb. Well, I don't know about the bombs, but the fire's all in it. Yeah, and they're on the risers, and Gene's by himself, of course, and Paul and Ace are on the other side. Peter's in the back, but on the album, you can't see Peter's crossing his arms real clear, but on that one you can. I took it to work and I put it on the scanner we have, and I took all the pixelation out. It took about an hour. It's awesome. It's an awesome piece of hardware. And so I told my son, I said, "See, he didn't have to kill nobody." But yeah, that was. I thought he was going to kill him because he paid $25 or $30. And when I rolled it out and I saw it and I saw the look on his face, I'm like, don't say nothing, because he was going to be yelling at the dude, get his money back, and it's not worth it. I told him it's not worth it because the guy was trying to just make money, but that was a ripoff. So anyway, I took it to work and I got it to look just like that one, as clear as that. Um, as my logo, the Living Law podcast. Um, so, well, I didn't get that to look clear. JR did. Anyway, so, but, Kiss did everything big. And there were dolls. Yeah, they were dolls. Yeah, I had a few of them. I had all of them. And they're worth a lot of money now if they're intact. If they got all their pieces like the boots and the anyway. So, but they were larger than Ken and Barbie. So yeah, everything was bigger. Kiss wise. No lunchbox wasn't though. It was normal size. What I remember because I had one of those too. All the things we had and we got rid of. Shit, I could have made some money off of that now. Oh well, what you don't know, right? Um, so yeah, music really, when you think about it, it really moves you. You know, there's certain songs that your mind, um, um, like when you hear a song, it reminds you of a memory. That's awesome. That music can really do that. That's that powerful. And that's what I'm talking about. Music is like that. You can hear stuff and, remember a time, you know. Um, it's the same way with, when you hear one song that you recorded yourself from musicians and you're like, yeah, I remember when I recorded that, it brings back memories. So, and that's the thing about music is really powerful like that. The groove can be powerful. You could be having the worst day of your life and a song will come on. It'll be the great, it will just uplift you, maybe, put you in a better mood. And then if you're down, having trouble, look out. There's a lot of songs that will put you right in the grave, you know. I mean, they have the tendency to do that, you know. I mean, you're down, you get you broken up with your girlfriend or wife or whoever, and then all of a sudden you hear a sad song and it's that's the end of it. You break up, you hear a country song about that. There's a lot of those. In the 70s, there was a lot. 80s, definitely. That's all everybody talked about. It was either drinking, leaving, or what was the other one? Fighting. So you're either fighting, loving, or fucking. So hey, whatever you be you. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. So yeah, but yeah, I can't tell you how many times I heard a song that I just loved, still love a lot of them. I love them even more now than I did. Um, yeah, you hear Mandy, and I haven't heard that song in forever. And I was like, I forgot all about that song because usually you remember from Barry, it's usually Copacabana, and I know that song's alright, but I forgot about Mandy. And then you hear stuff like from the Carpenters, you hear stuff from bands that I never got into the '60s music like that. Well, the '50s really. Like Hey Angel, or not Hey Angel. Like what is it called? Um, Love Potion #9 and stuff like that. I respect it. I just don't. I don't. And I love that how they wrote it and came up with it, and it was the same band member or not band members, but musicians playing the same songs. Whether it's for Brian Wilson or they had that team, and then you have the Funk Brothers for the Motown sound. So there was a lot of that, and to me that was great. When you realize when you hear the stories, I love hearing the stories about how songs were created. The last one I heard about was, I believe it was Bob Dylan. If you don't know this, Charlie Daniels was on, I think, 2 albums of Bob Dylan's. He played all the guitar. A lot of people don't know that. He played all the guitar, and he got the job because guitar player didn't show up, a session player, and that's what Charlie did to make ends meet. A lot of musicians did that, and that's how you hear about Glenn Campbell being part of the Wrecking Crew. You hear, that Charlie Daniels was part of, the legacy of one of the musicians that played with Bob Dylan, and then you hear a lot of stories, and I love hearing that. The best documentaries to me are the ones that go into explaining the song, how they created it, how they added the parts to it, and how the song was formed out of just crazy ideas. When Paul McCartney talks about Hey Jude, he woke up and had a dream. He had a dream, and that's what we have now. We have Hey Jude. It's remarkable that stuff happens like that. Comes right out of the ether. And it's so interesting to hear how they either dreamt about it or they did a chord. Him and John would write. He would write one thing, John would write another thing, and they put them together, and there you go. That 8 days, was it 8 days a week or night? What was that documentary that just came out for the Beatles? You know it. So that one was really good. I like that. And that last song that the Beatles did, using AI, it makes you want to hear more. So you hear that and you're like, well, I know I want to hear more. Damn, it's just one song. I wish there was a lot more of that where they can, add the AI, and because, that'd be interesting. Because you had parts that John played on, and you had parts that, when Ringo redid his, and so did Paul, they have stuff that George played on. So that was interesting. I like that. But I love the backstory and all that stuff. I think it's great. The more you learn about stuff is, you're kind of taken back how they wrote stuff, how they came up with it. Like that song from, what's it called, High and Low, or Low and High, from James Taylor. I can't remember the name of that. He talks about Jesus in the song, and you would never. It's not really a Christian song, but I don't think I heard that before. That's a really good song, and I only got that from a documentary about him. He was playing it in a documentary, just playing it, not singing to it. And I think the interviewer asked him what that was, and he said what it was, and I went and looked it up, and I heard the whole song. I thought, damn, how come I never heard this song before? Because all you hear is fire and rain and stuff like that, and the popular stuff. You don't hear, this is an obscure song, I think, and that's the stuff I like. When you hear stuff like that, it was kind of like that with Charlie Daniels and George Jones, especially. You hear a lot of that old stuff. And I don't like everything that George has sung on, but I mean, it's not that he can't sing it. It's, the words and stuff. You're like, it's okay. The way he sings is not bad. It's not really a song that grabs you. Like, kind of like, He Stopped Loving Her Today. That grabs you because of the story. And it's got a hook. And it doesn't only have a hook, but it's telling a story, and the story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So that's cool. Well, I think I'm going to end this. It's coming up on an hour, and I hope you enjoyed it. when I watch stuff like this for other people, I usually yell at the at the screen because when the person can't remember a certain thing and I know it, I'm yelling at the at the video. It's funny. So hope y'all did a lot of that this time. So peace out.